friends, thank you for joining me for another video today. I am doing another oldie but a goodie. It's the baby wipe technique, and I'm sharing some of these older techniques because while there are many of us who are not new to stamping, there are also many stampers who have just discovered this fun new hobby, and so a lot of these techniques are new again and new to many of my viewers. So if you have seen the baby wipe technique before, you may have forgotten about it, so you may be fired up after this video and want to go give it a whirl. For those of you who have never seen it, it's a bit of a wow, let me tell you. It's pretty cool. So it's called the baby wipe technique because you need to use baby wipes. So I am just taking out, I don't know, 2 or 3, whatever comes out. There we go, seal that up. Now, for this technique, you need a plate or a styrofoam, an old Stampin' Up! Case. I'm actually using our Stampin' Mist scrubber, and it's because we are going to put ink refills on these baby wipes, creating our own stamp pad, and some of that ink is going to come out beneath it. So I like to use my Stampin' Mist because then I can just, you know, take it up to the kitchen sink and give it a little rinse. So then it's all good. So I've got, let me see now, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you know what? Probably don't have to use 4. You could probably use 2, but I actually like to have it a little bit more thick than on the thin side. So you've seen I've just folded it in half. And now the fun part, creating your own ink pad. So guess what? I am going to be featuring our 2017-2019 in colors because these are retiring. These gorgeous, gorgeous colors, my favorite in color selection. They're just so pretty, and these are already starting to go on the low inventory list. So if you have the 2017-2019 in color ink pads and you want to get your refills, I really encourage you to get them today. Get them as soon as you can, because anything that are ribbons or designer series paper, anything that is using these colors are going to be retired, and they are going to be selling out really, really fast. March and April, they tend to sell out. So it is Fresh Fake, Berry Burst, Powder Pink, Tranquil Tide, and Lemon Lime Twist. So here is the fun. I am just going to dab on a little bit of the Lemon Lime Twist up here. Now I'm actually going to be creating 2 sets of colors because I am using Painted Seasons. Surprise, surprise. I am getting a lot of use out of this celebration bundle because I just can't stop playing with it, and it will also be retired at the end of this month when celebration ends. So I'm definitely getting my money's worth with the Painted Seasons stamp set. And unlike my other previous videos using the Painted Seasons bundle, today I'm going to be using my coordinating dies to that stamp set. So that's good enough. And you know what? You're going to get a lot of mileage out of this too. So for this bottom section, I'm going to be putting down the other colors. So my Powder Pink, and my Berry Burst, and then the Fresh Fig. There are a lot of techniques that you can use with your ink refills, but they're also really, really good to have, of course, just to re-ink your ink pads when they start going a bit on the dry side. So if you don't already purchase ink refills with your stamp pads, I encourage you to do that, because boy, it sure makes a difference when an ink pad starts getting dry compared to when you re-ink it with the refills. Okay, so there we go. I need to make some space over here, so I'm just going to slide this over. I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing. All right, let me get my stamps. So I'm going to use my flower, and I'm going to be making a couple different cards in this video. So I've got my flower on there. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use, I think, this leaf here. So just stick that on my block as well. Don't you just love our new cling stamps, you guys? I think they're awesome. All right, I am pulling in a sheet of our Whisper White cardstock. And in a second, I'm going to grab some glossy cardstock because this works really well in glossy too. So I'm going to show you both of those. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my flower. So watch this. I am just tapping it right on top of that ink. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp, hold it down for a second, and look at all the multicolors. And so I am literally just going to stamp all over this cardstock. And this is another form of a one-sheet wonder. And that's where you just, you can cut up all your 12 by 12 designer series papers into different sizes and make a whole bunch of different cards and scrapbooks. Well, this is the same thing. When you are stamping onto one sheet of cardstock, this is our 8.5 by 11 Whisper White cardstock, you can do the same thing. You can just cut it up in different pieces, different shapes and measurements, and get a whole bunch of mileage out of it. One of the first things I learned when I started stamping years ago was this one sheet wonder. So much fun. Can you see all the beautiful different colors? Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing, but using this stamp. Going into my greens. Look at the two tones. Beautiful. So I'm just, oh, I wasn't paying attention and I picked up some of the other color. I am cool with that. Look at, and then I went into the greens. Oh my goodness. Too much fun. Okay, I'm going to try to stay in the greens a little bit more. Going in different directions. See, again, I'm not looking and I'm just stamping. I'm okay with that. I'm just tapping that ink off on my scrap paper. I should move my ink pad to my right, but I have cardstock and paraphernalia over there, so if you're like me, when you start stamping, your space gets smaller and smaller. I don't know why that is. It just tends to happen, I suppose. So pretty. So just filling that in. And so you get the point. Gorgeous, right? Really, really pretty. And I'm actually going to go in with this little guy as well, just to fill in a few more of those spots. Isn't that nice? So I'm going to grab a piece of glossy cardstock and show you the difference. Okay, so you can see it's glossy. Alright, so I'm going to move this aside. You're going to get the same type of thing, but it does work really nice on the glossy paper. Now just careful because the paper can be slippery, so just push down nice and firm so that it doesn't blur. And I'm only going to do just a little bit just so you can see the difference between the two. And this is a good time to stamp your envelopes so that your envelopes coordinate with your cards as well. Not leaving very much space for the greenery, am I? I'm only going to do half. There we go. So maybe what I'll do is I'll grab that guy. Absolutely gorgeous. So I'll bring this in again. So same colors, but can you see there is a bit of a difference when you're using the glossy cardstock as opposed to the Whisper White. Both equally beautiful. All right, now I'm going to trim this because I want to show you something else that you can do with this baby wipe technique. So yeah, this is going to be interesting because I don't often do the two different colors like this. I usually just do the one side of the colors, but because I'm using, you know, the leaves and the flowers, I wanted to split it up. So this is going to be interesting how this turns out. But watch this. Way fun. I am just going to swipe it onto my card. So now you are creating a really cool background. Yes, this will get your fingers mucky, but I'm cool with that. So I'm going to flip this around so I can stay with that green in the middle. Whoops. And just keep swiping on my color. And this makes such a neat background. So some of it's overlapping in here. That's okay. And I'm just kind of covering up these white bits. Whoops. So you could go zigzaggy, you can go straight up and down like I did. So now I have a really neat background. There is still lots and lots of ink on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that in a little Ziploc bag, and I'll continue playing with it later today and just get my mileage out of that ink. All right, beautiful. So I'm going to set that aside. We'll come back to that, make a card with that in a second. So now what I want to do is I want to make some cards using this. All right, I am going to cut this down at the 4 1/4 mark. Just cutting it in half. And I'm going to put 1/2 away for later, and then I'm going to cut this down at, let's see, 4 1/4. I'm going to, actually no, I want to cut this at 5 1/2. And trim it down to 3 3/4. Okay, so I can save that. I can put that on the inside of the card. I can do different things with that. So I'm going to move that out of the way. Okay, so I am bringing in my Lemon Lime Twist cardstock, and this measures 4 1/4 by 11. So folded in half, it makes a 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 card. So now I'm just putting some liquid glue on the back. That is going to go right on the card front. Which way do I want it to go? I'll just stick it on this way. Now I have a strip of Lemon Lime Twist. This measures 5 1/2 by 1 3/4. I'm going to put some glue on that. Piece of powder pink. This measures 5 1/2 by 1 1/4. That goes right on the center. I have my Big Shot now. I am going to put this piece on here, taking one of our coordinating dies. And let me see now. I actually really like this one right here, so I'm going to position that right on top. This is definitely a bundle and dies that I will be using long after celebration ends, because I am so hooked on my Memory and More scrapbooking. That is something I love to do in my free time, and I am going to be using this so much for my photo albums, my memory albums that I make. You can just, I mean, beautiful, beautiful projects that you can make with this bundle. And my beautiful multicolored flower. Now I'm going to cut out some of those leaves. Got my embossing buddy. This is my Berry Burst paper. I'm just rubbing that all over. And I am featuring more celebration sets, because after this month they will be gone. So I'm going to use Know That Today a Friend is Thinking of You. And I am going to stamp this with my first mark. Okay. So I'm going to stamp that right about here. Taking my silver powder, sprinkle it on. And set that with my heat tool. Okay, so that says, know that today a friend is thinking of you. So I'm going to trim that out. end. Now it's time to put these pieces all together. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is put my banner on. I'm going to put that on right about there. Aren't these colors just gorgeous together? All blending together, and that silver is stunning on that paper. Alright, Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to put one right here. And tuck another one right about there. And then I'm going to put glue on this one. And you want to make sure it doesn't go past this too much, otherwise it won't fit inside the envelope. And I think I'm going to use this one. And tuck that there. Okay, and I want a dimensional behind this little guy, so I am just going to take my scissors and trim that. Sorry for the shadows and the lighting. It's my phone. It's the camera on my phone. It is really odd. If I have too much light on when I'm filming, I get these weird bars that go up and down, and I have Googled it. I have done everything I can to try to figure out why, and I cannot figure out for the life of me. So I have to have one of my lights turned off while I'm filming, which is very, very bizarre. So hopefully it's not too bad for you when you're watching. Oh my gosh, you guys, isn't that pretty? So rhinestones. Let's pull out some rhinestones, which will also coordinate nicely with that silver embossing. So I'm going to put a nice big rhinestone right in the center of these. Oh my gosh. Seriously gorgeous. Seriously gorgeous. So then I would just stamp a piece of paper, make it all coordinate nice, and put it on the inside. I'm not going to do that right now because I want to move on to card number 2. I'm actually going to bring back my scrap paper. Now I know I have lots of bits left over that I can play with, plus my glossy cardstock, but I want to do something a little bit different on this card. If I can find my stamp, here it is. So I'm going to bring my baby wipe back in and ink this up again, and I'm going to stamp around the edge of this card. And as I've mentioned in other videos, I like to stamp in odd numbers, so there are 5. We'll turn this around because now I'm going into my greens. I am going to bring in my stamp set again with the sentiments. I'm going to stick with the same one just because it's already out here. And I'm going to use Here's to Those Who Inspire Us, Don't Even Know It. Okay, I am pulling in my Stamparatus for this because I want to make sure my sentiment is stamped nice and dark. So I can move that foam, and how's this gonna go? I'm gonna put that there. Put my magnet down. Put my stamp down. Oh, that fits in there really, really nice. So I have a piece of Berry Burst cardstock. This measures 8.5 by 4.25, so it opens differently than the first card did. Okay, so I trimmed this down to measure 4.25 by 3.25, and then I have mounted this onto my card with my Stampin' Dimensionals. I forgot to put the camera back on after I was trimming it. So now I have one more thing I want to do to finish this card. Okay, I have taken my die, my Dragonfly, from the Detailed Dragonfly Thinlits, and I ran it through the Bake Shot using some scrap black paper. And using my die brush, I am going to just brush all those little bits and pieces out of the wings. Glue. Now let's see how that's going to look on here. I think that's going to look really good. Okay. Put a little bit of glue on his body. You could use a butterfly. You could use so many different things for this. And where are my rhinestones? Honest to goodness, it's getting really hard finding things on my desk right now. And picking up a big rhinestone, putting it right in the center of my dragonfly. Is that beautiful? So I'm gonna show you some cards. I have been making cards for team members who have birthdays this month. So I've made all kinds. Now these are all made using the same technique I just showed you. Obviously I've got some different colors mixed in with the flowers, and I've used Pool Party for my card base. And yeah, just so much fun. Look how pretty these cards are. And then I have cards for team members who are celebrating Stampin' Up! Anniversaries or promotions. And yeah, they're gorgeous. And all of these flowers, oh, I experimented with the painted glass and the glossy paper, and that was with the streaking. Oh, and some other ones. What I was going to say, first of all, before I show you, is I made all of these using my one-time baby wipe that I squeezed when I made this the other day. So when I say you get a lot of mileage out of this, I'm not joking. You really, really do. But I mixed up the colors. Instead of having the greens on one side and the pinks on the other, I kind of dabbed them all into one circle. So that's how I got so many different colors on the flowers. Oh, so pretty. Okay, so let me go back and show you these ones. So yeah, these are with the glossy cardstock, and that was with me streaking them. So I've used the sheltering tree and embossed some in gold and the butterfly in silver. Enjoy life. Stamping this sentiment. Love that sentiment. Another one. I believe this sentiment is from a paper pumpkin kit. So yeah, I just stamped all kinds of cards, and then I've got them for I send a lot of cards to my team and also customers too, so I can use some of these for my customers, but most of these are for my team members to have on hand and pop out in the mail. So yeah, fun guys, so fun. So at the end of this video, I'm going to show even more cards that I've made using the scrap pieces from today's demonstration. So thank you for watching, and like I said in the beginning of the video, if you've never seen baby wipe technique before, oh my gosh, you are gonna love it. And if you have seen it before, it might be a fun refresher for you in case you've forgotten about it. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Please hit the subscribe button, and I hope to see you here again. Happy stamping!